Hey everybody, Mike Steele here with Barbecue Champs Academy live, and we've got a great show lined up for you tonight. Some outstanding SCA cookers. We've got Mr. Brazeau himself and also Rick Manzi. It's going to be a great show. These two are so much fun to be around. I got a chance to hang out with them at the SCA World Championship, and I tell you what, these two guys are like brothers. And it's going to be a fun time with them. I hope I can contain them and keep them under control. But if they get out of control a little bit, we're going to just let them go at it. So anyway, if y'all are here tonight, let us know. And I already see folks popping up. Gordon, thank you for being here tonight. Brenda, as well, thank you for being here. Manny, aloha from you as well. It was great meeting you at the World Championship. And I do appreciate you seeking me out, finding me, and coming up. Scott, thank you for being here. This isn't where I parked my car. All right. Justin, thank you for being here tonight. Going to be a great show with some great SCA cookers. Michelle, thank you for being here. Brad, thank you for joining us tonight. Man, we already got 20 folks on. We ain't been on for 20 seconds. So, John, thank you for being here. Paul, appreciate it. Looked like y'all had a pretty good cook this past weekend. And looked like you did a little barbecuing. So, let us know. Hey, look else who it's got here. Got the champ. Hey, buddy, how are you doing? Says hello to Raz and Rick. David, thank you for joining us tonight. Going to be a good show. Oh, looky here, Rick. Look, Rick, look up. Look at the screen. Look who's here. Susan, thank you for being here. He's over here laughing. We appreciate you being on, Susan. It was so great to meet you at the World Championship as well. Brian, thank you for joining us tonight. Frank, as well, thank you for being here. Looky here, all the way from the land down under in Australia. That is awesome. It is so great that we can reach across the pond and get to our community over there as well. I don't know if you're an SCA cooker, Frank. If you are, give us a thumbs up and let us know. Caitlin Crane, it's always great to see you on here. And if I recall, didn't I see Brandon got his golden ticket this weekend in the ancillary? So if he did, congratulations. Sean S. Hey y'all, how you doing? Carrie Ann, appreciate you being here. Stephen, thank you for being here. Hello, Mike and all. I'm in San Antonio tonight. Cool. Great place down there. So if you're in San Antonio and you like awesome barbecue, I think it's in Seguin, just east of San Antonio. You got to go to the Burnt Bean. It's Ernest Avante's place. It is by far the best barbecue that I've ever ate at a restaurant in my life. His brisket is mind-blowing, crazy. His ribs, his sides. He said, "You get the turkey, Mike?" I said, "No." He just brought me a slice of the turkey over there, and oh my gosh, it was the best turkey that I ever ate in my life. So it's not far. If I recall, it's about 30 minutes from San Antonio, but look it up, Burnt Bean Company. And go in there, and if you go in and you see Ernest is behind the counter. He does all the carving himself. Tell them that Mike Steele sent you. So I promise you, if you're that close and you got time tomorrow to get by there, you need to do so. You need to get there early. The line, I think they open at 11, and the line is usually already, 50 people deep right off the get-go. So go check it out. Tim, thank you for being here. Matt, we appreciate you being here as well. Catherine, thank you for joining us tonight. Man, we got a lot of folks on here. You two guys, I may have to keep y'all on regular. We got everybody coming in here. Todd, thank you, all the way from Virginia. Caitlin, yeah, he did. Thank you. We're headed back to Fort Worth. That is awesome. And I'm going to be to Fort Worth early this coming or next year. We got there on Thursday thinking that, we was going to be able to film Friday and didn't realize we thought that was going to be the move-in date. They moved it up early. So we are going to plan for that, and I guess I should have checked the schedule. That was my fault for not doing it, but we are going to get there on move-in day next year. So, Candace, yeah, Brandon got his golden ticket. That's awesome. Andrew, thank you for being here. Steve Noble, let's see, Rick and Raz, two awesome cooks, more importantly, two phenomenal people that I have the privilege to call my friend. Yep, absolutely. Yes, I've been there, and it was absolutely good. Thank you. Appreciate it. It is a good restaurant. If y'all are ever down in that area, you got to go try it. Candace, two amazing people for sure. Love these two guys. Chris Cheney, hey buddy, look, this guy here's a good cook. He's another one of our Barbecue Champ Academy alumni. He cooks barbecue competitions. I don't know, Chris. Are you still over in Hawaii? Because he's been over in Hawaii for his, I don't know if it was his honeymoon vacation. I don't know. He's been married a long time, but their anniversary was this past week. I think it may have been on the same day Suzette and I was on the 23rd. And he's been over in Hawaii. So I don't know if he's still over there basking in the sun or if he's back to Texas or Arizona. He works on the pipeline, so he's up in Arizona quite a bit. So anyway, glad you're on here, Chris. We appreciate it. Also, looky here who we got. Mr. Danny with Be Extreme. Burnt Bean is the best. Love Ernest. Yeah, absolutely. Got Jody Davis on here as well. Thank you, Jody. Good evening, everyone. Two good cooks and friends on the show tonight. Wouldn't miss it. Awesome. Jimmy, thank you for being here. CM Payne, hello from Fort Worth. Thank you for being here. Yes, you are back home. Yeah, you've been gone long enough. That was quite an adventure in Hawaii. I'm glad you guys had a lot of fun, a lot of good pictures, and we appreciate you sharing it with us. Joshua, thank you for being here. I got another champ on here as well, Marissa Overson. Look, anybody got Scott Nardy's number, tell him to get on here. I mean, then we have all of them on here as well. It was great having Scott on here last week. Got a chance to talk to the 2021 World Champion. And I had a great show last week. Scott is just a super nice guy. We had a great time last week going over his whole process and how he started his journey in the SCA. And he was very deserving of what he did last year. Had 10 wins and then ended up winning the World Championship. Nathan, thank you for being here. Well, there's another one right there you can't ever count out. Miss Shauna Jo Rapolo. Hey, can't wait to see the Rick and the Raz show. Yes, I'm sure it's going to be great. Look, we got quite a few folks already on here. We appreciate everybody being here. Had a great weekend this weekend. And give everybody a couple more minutes. We was over in Gilmer, Texas at a little barbecue competition over there. Risk it for the brisket. And I had a 5th place rib, a 9th place brisket. Chicken flew the coop and didn't make final table. But I was very happy with the calls that I got. I think that's my 5th straight top 5 finish in ribs. Been crushing ribs. Brisket's still doing good. And chicken's done really good for me. The last couple competitions, I knew last 2 weekends ago, I really overcooked it. I got the breast a little bit hotter than what I like. And I thought I had a really good chicken this weekend. But, hey, you never know. It's in the judges' hands, and that's what it's all about. So, also want to congratulate Ricky Bocanegra. He won the event. He is another Barbecue Champ Academy alumni. He reserved Grand Champion it last year, and he got Grand Champion this year. Also want to give a shout out to Mike Bryce. He reserved Grand Champion. It was an awesome cook, and had a lot of fun when we was over there. So anyway, look, we got quite a few folks on here. 46 is what the meter's showing. And I want to do one thing real quick, if you would, just bear with me. I always want to give a shout out to our partners. Thank you so much, Danny, with Be Extreme Barbecue, B&B Charcoal, Prairie Fresh Ribs. I tell you right now, I switched over to Prairie Fresh last year, and ever since, my rib have just been absolutely crushing it. I love the taste and the texture of these ribs. So if you are into competition barbecue or just backyard barbecue and you are wanting to have some really, really good ribs, I highly suggest you give these Prairie Fresh ribs a try. You can get them at Raider Red Meats, and they're in Lubbock, Texas. That's part of that Texas Tech University of their agriculture department, if you can't find them in your stores. So they actually can ship them out to you. Also want to thank Brian Crawford at the Lone Star Barbecue Pro Shop. Certainly do appreciate him. Also, Wild Bill. Now, I'll tell you what, we're going to try to get Bill on here next week. He owns Texas Select Seasoning. He has got some absolutely amazing rubs. He's probably one of the only rub manufacturers that co-packs everything himself in-house. And he tells me he's been doing it since 1982 that way. He has control over everything. And I tell you what, if you are looking for something a little bit unique and a little bit different, you ought to take a look at Texas Select Seasoning, Mr. Wild Bill. He's got some great product. Also, we've got Gunnar Wilhelm Knives. David, we appreciate your support. Also, Dustin Stanley at the barbecue store. John Lindsay all queued up. And Daigle's Barbecue Sauce. And they got some great rubs as well. We certainly appreciate them as well. Well, I'll tell you what, without further ado, let's bring in our two guests tonight. First of all, we're going to bring in the Razman himself, Mr. Mark. Thank you for being here. And
evening.
And next up, we got to bring. Let me just do this real quick. Let's get Rick in. Rick, how are you doing, brother?
Hello. Boom.
You doing good? Appreciate you guys being here, man. I tell you what, I could not think of two better guys to get together on a Tuesday night to do a little chit chat in front of a computer. So we got 47, 48 folks that are on here. And anyway, Mark, congratulations on an outstanding year that you had. You got a chance to walk the big stage at the SCA World Championship, finished 15th. And man, congratulations to you. That I know that had to make you feel good.
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, it's. I was so focused actually on the ancillaries this year because I love the ancillaries. So I was after Catherine Noble and Tanya and company, and the stakes. I just got in a good zone with the stakes. It was just, it was an honor. It was good, and it just goes to show if you really cook two good steaks, you can get there.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
That's really everybody can do it.
Yeah. And also, Rick, man, what a freaking year you had, man. You go in, you show up, you show out in Pennsylvania, and you got the SCA Points Championship in Pennsylvania. Then you continue to cook all throughout the year, finished 18th in the SCA Points Chase in the U.S. That is a freaking phenomenal feat considering how tough it was this past year with the way that the point stuff was structured. So congratulations on that.
Thank you, Mike. It's funny. We set out some goals at the beginning of the year. Never would I have thought that I'd be pretty consistent. And truth of the matter is, I'm consistent exactly because of the classes that you offer. From Alan Newton to Terry Rohn to Matt Overson to Will Collier, John Lindsay, hopefully Marissa Overson. I always forget Marissa, but Marissa's class too. I didn't take Shauna's yet, but I will. But certainly it really crushed the learning curve for me, and it really gave me that ability because I never had any intention. I do this as a release of my day job, and I never knew it would lead into this. So,
yeah, well, I tell you what, you had an outstanding year. That is no doubt about that. So, and just to let you guys know, we're going to be doing updates on all the state classes here within the next month or so. So they're coming back into the studio. I've already got Terry Rohn scheduled. Shauna's going to come in. Matt Overson said he wants to come in. Will Collier said he wants to come in. And we're going to go through their recipes and all the new little tips and things that they've been doing since they did their class. We're going to update it. If you've already bought the class, it's going to be added right to your class. There's not going to be a charge for it. So you're going to have two different recipes that they're doing. Marissa's class is still not even a year old, and I don't know if she's changed a whole lot yet because she didn't get a chance to cook a whole lot last year because she's trying to finish, she was still going through school. I think she finishes up school in May, and I hope she's going to get back out on the trail. And maybe toward the end of the year, or we get her closer to Shreveport, we might get her in. Maybe toward the end of the year, or first part of next year to update her class because hers is not even a year old yet. And there is people, I'll put it like this. There was a guy that took her class I guess a couple weeks ago. He went to his first competition this weekend, and he posted in her class that she finished third overall in her class. So that was just absolutely awesome to see. And so I hope everybody's going to enjoy that. The only thing that we ask, we're doing all that, getting all these guys in. I'm paying all the film crew to come in and set up to do all that and not charging anybody anything. So the new people are going to get both old and new classes, and the same likewise. Y'all have got the new old stuff. You're going to have the new as well. The only thing we ask, help us sell the classes, right? Because I've got to cover the expense. So anybody that's taking our classes, if you don't mind to help us out, if you would give us shout outs on Facebook or on the stage when you walk the stage. That was the one thing that I'm going to kind of go in through the private message boards that we have, the private Facebook pages. And I'm just going to kind of ask everybody to do it. But, hey, we got 51 on here tonight, and we're going to do that as well. And it's just something that we just want to continue to give back to you guys, to continue your education and continue to do well. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to grow the SCA and barbecue alike. So, Raz, tell me what was your process going into this whole deal? What was your mindset? I mean, you've been cooking pretty good steaks all year. Did you have anything in particular that you was wanting to do going into this? I know you said you was really concentrating on the ancillary. What did you do as far as going in and your steak prep? Did you, a lot of practice? Did you change anything up a little different going to Fort Worth, or how did you end up doing it?
I mean, Rick and I talked about this, and I get just the difference of last year to this year. And like through the year, Rick and I would say, he goes, Raz, he goes, all this happened, and guess what? It was only 6 months ago, right, Rick? We would talk all year long on how quick the curve happened. And Rick and I were together last year, and last year, I mean, we were there for the show. It was almost like being in Hollywood, and we're seeing all these cook celebrities. We're in awe, taking pictures. So I do like taking pictures, by the way. And and we're there just to absorb.
Right.
And this year we really went in there, and Rick will say it's the same thing, was really just to really still have fun. I mean, I was so focused, but I was really I was chill. So what really came through with me was just being relaxed enough just to be very, very focused on what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And being that I had to do the ancillaries and the steak and the hot dogs, I wasn't, it's great that I made all of them, but it put a pretty big heavy workload on just having to do everything in one day. And it was just a focus of just being there. I had a good practice in Young Harris, Georgia, and that was my only practice in 3 months.
Wow.
So I'd not practiced since November. I practiced at home quite a bit, but I had only one practice cook. So I stayed in that zone. I kept going through November and October. I was in a good element. I was walking pretty consistently. I got a first place on my last November piece. Kind of chilled out and just cooked some other stuff. Worked on the ancillaries like crazy, and finally went to Young Harris really to work on the Wampler sausage and do steaks at the same time. And got a 6th and a 3rd out of it. So it was a good performance.
Right.
But my intent of going to Texas was just to have fun and just to relax, but still stay very focused. The process, I think, is firm. Once you're in your process, Rick, right, you kind of just stay in your process. You know your process. Like, Rick and I will talk sometimes and say, you do practice this week? He goes, no, we know how to cook a steak. It's not to say you don't practice all the time, but you have to know what you're doing. So I didn't really change my practice that much. Not really. I changed maybe some of my elements on layering, marinating, things like that. But I was pretty much zoned in on just really having a good time, focusing on the steaks, and just not stressing out. Because I think if you stress out, you overthink it. Yep. That's where you panic.
Yeah. Yep.
You got to trust what you're doing. It's muscle memory of just doing your process and not messing up, and just control what you can control.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. It's what I kind of do in my barbecue stuff. I'm the same every time. I'm going to do the same every time. I try not to change anything. Look, I don't swing for the fence. And I see a lot of people try to swing for the fence. I want first place. I want second place. That's a hard number to hit, right? I just want top 10 calls, and I heard Fred Robles, he's one of the greatest cooks around, right? And he said, if I can just land 3 top 10 finishes and maybe get a 5th and a 6th and a 7th, a lot of times that'll win a grand champion. And, so I just try to be a consistent cook. And do you have that approach in steak? I mean, do you I want to try to put a little extra pop, or I'm going to try to do this, or do you just kind of do your same thing and the law of averages will average it out where it's going to land?
No, I think you have to understand, and an advantage of last year, I cooked in 8 different states, and you get to learn the judges in the areas a little bit. And I think a few weeks ago when Lindsay was on, and who was it? Steve Conway, I think, was your double. And they were talking, and depending on where I'll go, I may adjust how I layer, how much I layer, but it's really it doesn't really change. I've not changed my profile since last summer.
Okay.
So none of that will change, but you have to still know your steak. You may marinate different. I may go wet to dry. I may layer different on the area, but I really am not changing my flavor profile because it's been solid. I mean, Big Extreme is, to me, it's a winning combination, and I'm in it, so there's nothing to change up on it.
Nothing to change. Okay. All right, Rick. Let's talk about you. What was your process going up through the year? I mean, how did you start off the year? Did you start off strong, fail a little, come back strong?
Yeah.
What was your process?
I think for me, I get away from my process, and that's the one thing. If you look at in Braz, and for those on the call know, May through August, I have to say I was fortunate enough to, get 15 top 5 calls and 4 first place wins, 4 seconds, 4 thirds, 4 fourths.
Wow.
But then what happens is the first time, and for everybody who might be watching, the first time you go that competition without getting a top 10 call on a double. Then you go the next weekend, you get the 8, you stop playing around. It was probably my nemesis. And truth be told, because I was hanging around 14th in the country, 12th in the country, and finished 18th, but I should have trusted my process, and I didn't. So, that's where I got away from my process. But I will tell you a lot of the things that I've tried. A lot of people have helped me. Marty Plute was helping me the day before setup, doing a test cook to get my meter right, right? I mean, Steve Noble, he's another incredible person trying to help. And I think sometimes you just got to get back to basics, trust in yourself, trust in your process, and just go with it. Sometimes you think that extra pop or extra whatever is going to help you, and it ultimately you end up 13th place, 12th place, and it hurts you. So I was the other way. I was on fire coming out of the gate, and then I kind of cooled off, quite honestly. So I'm back to basics, needless to say. And
So,
like I said, I mean, before the World Championship, like Raz said, it's different this year. Last year, you were starstruck with all the great folks and competitors. And this year, I was calm, but and I was happy with my overall cook. I just didn't cook a perfect steak. So finished 14th in my group. And I happened to be in Marissa's group, Monty Plute's group, Johnny Joseph's group.
oh, wow.
Yeah, so I mean, I would have finished 7 out of the 9 groups. I would have finished with my score, but just in my group, that's just the luck of the draw, and hats off to everybody, So,
Right.
But it was much different this year. Your second year at the World Championship, more focused, a lot calmer. But for me, it's really getting back to basics.
So what did you do to get back to the basics? Because you said you started getting away from what you was doing. I heard you saying that, and you kind of fell off. So what did you do to correct it?
Well, it's funny. I remember Terry Rohn was on 6 to 7 months ago. And he had the same, you had him on, and he was saying how he got away from his process.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he actually watched his videos a couple of times. I will tell you, you could ask my wife, she's sitting in the other room. If I didn't watch Terry's video, Marissa's video, Matt's video, and just from steak selection, I would watch all 3 to say, what am I not doing? And lo and behold, whether it was John's video, Matt's, Will's, I'm like, oh my God, I don't do that anymore.
Wow.
I don't do that. And the next thing you know, I went from here to 6 clicks left, and I go, no wonder why I cooled off.
Right.
Well, really, and that's the benefit, Mike, honestly, for barbecue champs and the great pit masters that you have and grill masters that you have on your Barbecue Champs Academy. So basically, I went back to looking at all those videos and quite honestly, picking up the stuff that's really taking me away from my normal routine. So that's what I'm going to focus on as we kick off this year, and we'll see how it goes. But, if I took an in-person class, I wouldn't have that ability. With barbecue champs and the great grill masters, I have that ability. So it makes it a little bit easier.
Wow. That's we heard Terry say that last year, right? And then there's a lot of people probably think, yeah, did he really do that? Well, Terry's a straight up shooter. I don't think in any way, shape, or form Terry would lie about anything. I mean, Terry's going to tell you like it is. You can take it to the bank, But then to have you come on and just say the same thing, I got away from what got me there, and I go back and I watched all the videos over and over and figured out all the things that I was doing wrong. And that's the same thing that Terry said. I started getting away from what got me there. And, so guys, that's a pretty good testimonial right there. I mean, it came from you, and it came from a grill master, a world champion, Terry. You can get away from it. And I think there's a lot of the barbecue guys that do the same thing. They think they got it all figured out, and they're doing it. Oh, I'm going to make it my own. And next thing you know, you start getting so far away from what got you there. Because if you think back, I know a lot of our barbecue guys that was just crushing it when they first came out. I mean, killing it. And then all of a sudden they started doing things to make it their own, to change this, that, and they start getting away from what got them there in the first place. They couldn't hit the side of a barn, And I don't know. I think that's the one thing that really helps. And Candace posted, consistency is the key. And Candace, I think you're exactly right. I don't care if you're cooking barbecue, if you're cooking steaks, or if you're cooking hot dogs. So
I mean, Mike,
be consistent.
When you think about it, right? I remember, at one point of the year, my top 10 ratio was almost 56%, 58% of my comps I do. And I finished up somewhere around 46. But again, even tonight, I did a practice cook. You saw the steak I said before I came on.
Wow.
And Steve Noble today, I was touching base. Him and Marty would get me dialed in with the meter. I'm not using the meter anymore. I'm going back to what I used to do because, it just brings
overcomplicates it.
Trust in the process. In the process.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Raz, what do you think about that? I mean, is some of the things he's saying, does that fit into things that you kind of sometimes catch yourself slipping
It
away?
doesn't. Yeah, and it doesn't get you grounded because, like, even when we cook together, I mean, we'll talk and we'll share tips, but you're not seeing an entire process. I may go by and Rick, I'll see a Manzi move, right? And I'll take the Manzi move,
Again,
which you're not using anymore, but I still use your move.
Again.
Here we
Right?
go. Here
I've got
we
it
go.
right here, the Manzi
The
move.
Manzi move. Got him stirred up already.
Like, that's why I bought a trailer, so Raz. It has electric fence around it.
The Raz move is putting mustard on it, but anyway.
Does he put mustard on his steak for a binder? Is that what he's doing?
It is just like ribs, man. It adheres. That's the secret. Mustard on rub.
Mustard on it. That's awesome.
But we see, we'll get little tips. What's cool about the class is you get to see. It's like you're standing over and watching the entire process from the steak selection to the letting it rest, and not only does it kind of get you back grounded, but you'll go back and you'll forget some basic things, or you'll pick up things you don't remember. It's like watching Moving Over again. Right. You get little Easter eggs, and you're like, oh, you know what? I never really saw Will do this before, John do this before, Terry do this before. You're picking up little elements. And it's almost like being there with the guys, but it's great to be able to see either just the little segments you want to go on. So if I'm getting ready to go to the comp and I'm struggling with meat selection, I may just go to that one video and just study again. Okay, I got 30 seconds. It feels like 2 seconds. What do I need to focus in on? Yeah. Or if I'm struggling with the cooking, my steaks are too cold. How do I warm them up? So you can get very selective. You can pick up the tips, or like Rick is saying, you can go back and just chill out and watch somebody do the entire process and kind of just get regrounded doing it. Yeah. So I think there's like 3 good values in there.
Yeah. That's interesting. Two separate cooks. You're in Virginia, you're in Pennsylvania, is that right? Yeah. So, I mean, but you're using the process of the videos to keep you grounded. And if somebody had just, here we go. I mean, can't just stick to your grassroots and remain consistent. That's the thing. Sometimes you can start getting so far away from the process that, you think, okay, I don't need it anymore. And then all of a sudden you go, man, maybe I do, because I'm not doing as good as before I was doing that. So that's really unique, and it's really kind of. I don't get too many times that I've got people on here that are talking about the classes as much as you guys are, and I'll just left this up to what y'all wanted to talk about. So it's pretty neat to hear the feedback on that, and it helps me be a better moderator while we're doing this too, because I listen to the things. I'm always asking questions. I literally come off, y'all have seen it, I come off like I don't know anything about anything, but I want it to be that way for the first time cooker, whether it's barbecue or steaks, that I'm trying to get all the information out of them that I can, and I don't want to leave nothing unturned. So why do you do this? What's the purpose of that? What are you looking for here? Why? And I'm hoping that, those questions do help people that they're sitting there. And I've had a lot of people like, man, you asked a question. He was talking about something. I was just like, I just wished you would ask this one question. And it wasn't like 3 minutes later and you asked that question. And I was like, yes, So I do try, and I like the feedback. I get a lot of feedback sometimes from the people that have taken classes. And obviously feedback like this helps me to know where I'm really trying to take these guys, because when they come into the studio, they have no idea what's going to transpire. I mean, one, they're in front of a camera. Terry was so freaking nervous. I thought he was going to hyperventilate. He was like, I was like, just relax, Terry.
Really, Terry?
Oh, Terry was so and people and I had some person, they made a comment. He acted like he didn't want to be there. You get in front of a camera with me asking you questions, and I tell them, look, there is no cuts. We don't stop. We don't edit. If I ask you a question, you need to answer it, because I'm not going to cut around it. And if you're going to give me your tell-all class, I want your tell-all class, and I'm going to ask you some questions that you may be uncomfortable answering, but I'm going to ask them anyway. You're here. And, Terry was nervous. I mean, and they was like, he acted like he didn't want to be there. I was like, I'll come over here and get in front of this thing, and let me start asking you questions. And you got a camera on. We're not breaking. We're not cutting. We're not editing. And let's see if how well you feel, you know. And Shauna was a little nervous. You know, I was like, you're going to be fine. Don't worry. I keep telling them, everything's going to be all right. I'm right here beside you. I'm going to ask you the questions. Just answer them. And if you don't answer the question that, a lot of times I'll ask a question and I didn't get the answer that I was kind of hoping for, I'll ask the question again. And y'all probably have seen me do that. Like, so, oh, that's cool. But what about if, and I'll rephrase the question and ask it again. And then I get the question, the answer to the question. And y'all probably caught that, especially as I did this later and started, you know, really digging. I'm trying to dig every bit of the information out of them as I can. But yeah, Shauna was pretty nervous. Terry was super nervous. It was about the third video in. You finally kind of, I said, breathe. Just breathe, Terry. It's going to be all right. But he was just, you know, in front of a camera, and he was just like, bah, you know. The John was great. Will Collier was phenomenal. Marissa had a lot of fun with it. I mean, she was really good. I thought at first she was going to be a little nervous. I said, girl, you got this. You're the champ. Come on now. Let's just have some fun. And so they were all really, really good. And Matt was a little timid at first, I thought, but not much. So... But it's a lot. I mean, we got 3 cameras in here, and you know you're mic'd up, and it's fun. You know.
Hey Mike, I want to know how come? Because I took just about everybody's video. I know Matt, Will, and Marissa. I think you asked them a final attempt 4 times. You didn't do that with Terry Rohn. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to. Terry Rohn is like E.F. Hutton. Remember that old commercial? When he talks, you listen, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, and Terry is just that kind of guy that you couldn't. Terry's answers throughout that class was a one answer question. Terry, what do you do here? I do this. Come on, Terry, give me a little bit. Give me some meat on that bone, brother. Give me just a little bit more meat. I felt like I'm like, all right. Then you ask Terry, what about this? This is what I do. Got it. So, but you know what? That's Terry's process. Yeah. And a lot of people, that class is very cut straight to the point. And that's Terry's style, right? And I tell people all the time, if you look at Terry, he will dead give you the answer. But it's going to be a straight, here it is. He doesn't sugarcoat it. And this is the answer. And this is what you're going to get. You know, so it's funny. I didn't know that I asked him the question one time, but Terry said, I'm pulling it at this temperature. Yes, sir. So, and that was it. It didn't need nothing else. So, and when I pull it at that temperature, it's going to sit there and it's going to rise to this temperature. I'm like, that much? Just watch.
The steak obeyed him, right?
Yeah, and it's like, I'm sitting over there looking. I was like, okay. And he put that thing in the full, and he sat there about 5 minutes. He's like, there it is. I was like, I am not believing what I just saw. I was like, that is insane. And it went right up to the temperature. And I was like, man, you got it, man. I remember when we was filming Clash of the Titans. It was funny. I was watching, you know, Shauna or John and Shauna. The first one was Matt and Terry. That was the first one. And I was just watching how Terry cooks. Next up was Shauna and John. And oh my gosh, them two had a blast. I mean, they were characters from the time. They would be like you two. So, and they were just having a great time. And then when it went to the finals with John going up against Terry, I just watched Terry, you know, and I just said, dude, you're too smooth. I said, I said, there ain't nothing that would stick to you. And I said, you know, I said, well, I got a nickname for you. He said, oh, it's Fear of the Stash. I said, forget. I said, we're calling you the Iceman. I said, because you are, nothing bothers you. I think I could come over here and put a blindfold on you. And I think you could just say, put his stuff out in front of him, blindfold him. And I think Terry could cook probably dang near a perfect steak. He's just everything, just the way he picks it, brushes this, that. And you talked about muscle memory. You know, I didn't think about that y'all talk about it a lot. We don't talk about it so much in barbecue because it's nothing that repetitious that fast, right? But Terry is just as smooth as it can be, and yeah, it's pretty neat to watch you guys. I will tell you that. So,
Mike, another good advantage we don't talk about, and I saw Terry's comment about me being the social butterfly, which is not true, Rick. Right?
yeah, whatever.
But we have, like Rick and I and our East Coast Steak Mob family, we've got a good network. We're constantly talking. I'll call Rick every Thursday. I'm talking to Paulini and talking to Jody Davis and those guys, and we talk and we feedback and we shig and we share, and you've got that network, right? Where a lot of the folks really don't have that established,
right?
And the cool part about the class is not just the video, but it's the Facebook group that's out there.
Yeah,
and we don't talk about that enough because that becomes relevant. So, let's say you took World Collier's class and you're going to be doing the dare to do the sear, and you've got questions. You can get in that group and get direct feedback that's relevant to now. If you're struggling with texture or done this, you get real-time live stuff that is not even from a year ago's video. It's from what these guys are cooking right now. So Terry will tell you his struggle in Florida, what he's doing, right? So you get that private group, you get that social network where a lot of the new cooks don't have that established.
Yeah.
And that also brings up the learning curve too, is to have their own old lady group. My wife walks by and Rick and I are talking, goes, "You guys are a bunch of old ladies," because we're talking forever on just steaks. We're talking meat and steaks. Goes, "How do you talk about steaks for an hour?" Says, "It's easy. We love it." She walks away from it, but they gain that group.
Yeah,
I think it's got big value.
Yeah, and that I don't. I'm something I put up for that, in case there's something that I didn't cover that you could go ask and you put it up. But I really never thought about the importance of it. I mean, I know it, I see it a lot, but I guess because I see it all the time, I really wonder, well, is this really helping? Well, to hear you, and I've seen people, and just like the guy that took Marissa's class, he posted, "Marissa, thank you so much. The class that you gave here on Barbecue Champs, I was first competition I ever went to, third place, It is cool to see that, and they'll ask questions and stuff like that. So it's pretty neat. The whole process is pretty neat. But yeah, I guess there is a lot of value to that private Facebook group. There's something, you can ask a question. Hey, what about this? So Matt, man, I'm glad that it's helped you. It's great. I love seeing stuff like this because I tell you what, I was quite shocked. I was telling Scott last week, I didn't see the top 15 for like a week and a half after. I just didn't see it. Then I went to Scott's page. I was like, oh my God, they took my class and they took my class and they took the class and they took the class. It's like, holy freaking cow. There were so many people that had taken Barbecue Champ classes that was in the top 15. And I was like, man, it just makes me feel good. It makes me happy to see people, to be able to walk the big stage. And, I don't know. It's just a great feeling to know that we was able to help grow that community and get people so involved that they're, you want a prime example. Here's the man himself. I mean, this guy is just, he was going to go do competition barbecue and Robbie's class got canceled. He was going to go take an in-person class with Robbie Royal and then COVID canceled it. So he's like, well, I'm hearing all this SCA stuff, and he jumped in and took a steak class, and boom, next thing you know, he's cooking steak. Now Brenda's kicking his butt. So here we go. Is Mark related to Braz, or are they just doppelgangers? What the heck?
We're doppelgangers.
Doppelgangers.
We're twins. Brazeau's out with Scott Larchwood somewhere causing trouble down the streets and the alleys.
I got you.
Is the word. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, a lot of people was like, "Who's this Mark Brazeau?" I was like, "That's Raz." Oh, Raz. Why didn't you just say Raz? I said, "Okay, Raz." So, oh goodness gracious!
Started quite the conversation this morning when you did that.
Yeah, I figured it would. So who cares? Oh, let's see. I've been fortunate to cook beside Terry several times, and what you got on that video is how he is in competition. Yeah, one of the most focused persons I've ever been around. Yeah, 100%. So, Candace, Terry is one of a kind for sure. I 100% agree with you on that. So, the network of group gives new meaning to SCA family. Yep, that's 100% true. So let's see. Man, we got a lot. I absolutely love the ability to cook in the same contest as these guys. Yeah, let's see. Any hints with SCA ancillary categories you could give? Any hints with SCA ancillary category? Yeah, go take a class. We got some good classes in Barbecue Champs Academy. That's about all I can tell you. Raz could probably help you. So if you are looking for help, though, on presentation and stuff like that, we do have classes that are available on bbqchamps.com, really focused on like flavors, techniques, and the presentation stuff was just huge. I mean, you eat with your eyes first. What do you say, Raz? You cook a lot of ancillary stuff.
Well, at the beginning of last year, I always said that I hate ancillaries because I love cooking so much. So between doing two steaks and doing hot dogs in the middle of two steaks, which is already crazy, I did, my share of a few ancillaries last year, did well at it, but I absolutely adore them. So this year, I'm definitely coming out for a lot of the folks. I think it's going to be an even bigger thing this year than last year. It's huge.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're seeing a lot of strong performances. You're seeing the Catherine Nobles and the Tanyas that are just monsters out there. You're seeing a lot of the cooks get in there. But I think the one item rule is really going to help the
Yeah.
cooks like me not do stupid moves like 4 hot dogs in one contest,
Right.
but just focus on one item.
Right.
So-
And I'm glad they did that. I think it makes better competition. Yeah, anybody can cook 4 or 5 turn-ins, and you're bound to get something across the finish line. I
Yeah,
think this is
exactly.
going to really tighten things up when you're cooking just one. Let's find out who can cook the one the best, and I'm glad that they did that. So,
It's good.
yeah, Barbecue Champs Academy was a huge part of me winning 3 comps last year. Wow, that's awesome, Todd. I try to keep up. I see so many people go across. It's just too many. People are like, how many people taking class? Like, it's a lot. Like, how many? Like, it's over 400 or 500 people have taken Barbecue Champ steak
Wow.
classes. I mean, and that's probably a low number. And but I try to remember, especially the ones that's taken 2 or 3 classes. I can usually remember them because I see the name a lot. But it is pretty neat. Here's another one, Larry Dwayne Anderson. He took our classes literally 3 days after we launched, and he goes to his first competition, and he walks in. What did you walk in, Larry? You had like a 5th place rib and an 8th place chicken. Didn't even get a chance to cook Corey Mike's brisket. And he picked up $600 at his first competition. He paid $599, goes to his first competition not even a week later, and picks up $600, paid for the class, goes to his next competition, drops off a couple tickets, picks up some more money, goes to the next competition, and gets his first grand champion after cooking for a year. He's then went to 3 comps, done made $1,900 in his first 3 comps, and I was like, man, I was so excited to see stuff like that. So, yeah, did the classes work? Yeah, I don't have to really promote it no more. I do, but there's so many people that stories like this, Larry's, it works. So down the streets and in the alleys.
Way to go, Pauline.
Way to go. Let's see. Creative killed my confidence. Laughing out like 44 in Fort Worth. Yeah, sometimes you can get too far out there if you ain't careful. So we have a comp in Australia with hot dogs, plant-based burgers, desserts, bacon, jalapeno poppers inspired, as well as 4-time steak. Wow,
I'm coming down for that one.
Yeah, you need to go down
there.
there. We need to get you on a plane, buddy. Barbecue Champs has helped me
Get some
out.
Australian hot dogs.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Rumor has it that sweeter side of Manzi family will be cooking this year. When can we expect to get beat by Susan? She's probably in there watching the videos now, so... Raz, I think we need to recruit Susan. Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Boom.
Hey, Terry, I think I can get her.
Yeah, I think.
Hey,
There we go.
Raz, now I know why. We got back from Texas, and Sue says, "Hon, maybe next year we should go back to Texas just on a vacation." Now I know why.
Oh, man.
But Manzi, here's the deal. Stu still believes in the Manzi move that you don't. So Sue's coming to our side, and she'll do the Manzi on you and beat you, butt.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Oh, my God, Uncle Wood. There we go.
That is so funny right there.
We want Sue. We want Sue.
We won't Sue.
We
Oh, goodness. I have taken 5 steak class and a barbecue class and Barbecue Champs. I've learned something from each one. Thank you, Nathan. I appreciate it, man. I really, really do. You've definitely bought some classes from us. Let's see. Once Susan starts, we're all in trouble. Yeah, I mean, between Susan and Brenda and all these, I tell you what, man, these girls are freaking killing it. So,
Yep.
oh, goodness.
Mad respect.
Yeah. So I'll ask you, Rick, does it make you a little nervous, now that Susan's getting into competitions a little bit that,
No, it really doesn't. Honestly, I can't
oh,
wait. I can't wait
tough,
to see
tough
what.
guy, tough guy from Jersey, right?
No, I,
Listen.
I have a different approach this year. I know I won't be in the points for 2022, and nor do I want to do that this year. I'm actually going to spread off into barbecue. So to support Sue, and really the goal is to get back, get a golden ticket for myself, help Sue, have her get her own golden ticket.
Right.
Go to Fort Worth, go up against Braz head to head and kick the crap out of him on barbecue camps. That was supposed to happen, right? But he was scared. He was scared, Mike. So he did do well, though, and he is 15th in the world. So congratulations, my friend.
There you go. Oh, that's so funny. Well, I tell you what, there was one thing that after the stuff was all turned in, there was a big shindig at the Raz camp. And this guy is absolutely world famous for his hot dogs. And I did get there on Thursday. I didn't get a chance to hang out with anybody. He was like, "Are you going to be able to? Hang out for Sunday? I'm doing dogs." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, your hot dogs?" And he said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, your hot dogs look so good." And I was not able to stay. I had to come back. But here's some pictures of the dogs that you was turning in. And all I can say is wow, those look absolutely amazing. So Raz, tell us a little bit about how many people were involved in organizing this. How many dogs did you cook in how many minutes, and how many people did you feed?
So my favorite moment was Sunday morning walking to the into the Coliseum, and Keith Todd was there, and he said, he goes, "Hey, listen, you," and he had a pet name for me, and he goes, "You're in the finals. You better be focused on this steak." It says, "Your hot dogs, your team's got you. So don't focus on the darn hot dogs. Focus on the steak." And I said, "Keith, I'm focused." So that kind of put me in the mindset.
Right.
But we had probably about 25 people. So I had the brethren of the East Coast Tape, the Tim Newells, Todd Johnsons, and Manny and Jeff Campbell's in there. So we kind of had 5 grills going, and we turned 40 hot dogs in 15 minutes flat. And I knew my timeline. I had to follow my timeline. So we did it. So we put out the word. We had the tables out there. Had Shauna and Steve and Kevin Kelly came down specifically just to give out the hot dogs. It was super cool. So we had the magical combo of the Big Extreme on the hot dogs, and Shauna's Sassy Joe Pickle Pico and the Kevin Kelly mustard. So that was going on. They were there. Bob Gonzalez was there. Paul Wolf was there with the Phenom Dallas, which was right in the middle of.
Yeah.
So we put her right in the middle of Shauna and Steve, and she was in heaven.
Yeah.
So, and I think Rick, you were there. I think we had more fun behind the scenes than the people having the hot dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we gave out those hot dogs in 30 minutes flat. We could have easily done 400. That's our challenge next year. We're going to do 400 hot dogs because we're stupid.
Wow.
We do insane stuff, and we can do it. And you know what? It was really, to me, it was seeing us come together. It was really Rick, hopefully you agree with that. It was the essence of the SCA kind of just working together as a family.
Right.
And really just being out there and just doing what we do, cooking and having fun.
Yeah.
It's great that they tasted good, but it was really about us just doing this for us. It was us about us.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the
amazing.
magic was for it.
Yeah. Best hot dog on the planet. Best dog ever. You have to go there. I'm telling you. Let's see. Future class
Next
for
year.
Raz Dog. Yeah. There we go. Best dogs in the world. Sounds good. Oh my God. Are so good. Let's see what it got. Rick. Hey, Rick, are you going to be at Twin Valley and Morgantown in May for the SCA?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. What was a heck of a feat cooking 220 hot dogs? That's amazing.
Well, Tim was cooking them too.
There he is. He showed up. There. All right. Now we got them all on here. Who's that guy? Hey, just hold that ring out, Scott. Tell them who you are. Oh, dang right. Missed out on the best dog ever. I know it. I am so sick. I mean, I was like, "Oh, you're doing them when?" And he was like, "Doing them Sunday." I was like, "Oh my gosh." And I love a good hot dog. So
let me tell you about something about Nardi and his cartel. It was because we were basically on the lower part. He was up on the hill, so he owned the bunker, right? So,
Right.
but Nardi and the cartel was probably the most, oh my God, the most concise, constructed group of maybe 6 cooks. I mean, they all had their white canopies, their extension cords were exactly aligned, all their PK goes were there. I've never seen such a well executed presence out there, and you can see the results of what Scott and team have done. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, they want to talk about consistency and repeating. Nardi's got it.
Oh yeah, Scott definitely is. He's an unbelievable cook. You know, I was joking with him a little bit. Not really joking. I mean, everybody last year heard me say in the video on the Clash of Titans, I said, I think you're going to end up winning this deal, Marissa. And I really thought, I had talked to him, and I actually posted, I think, on that Friday night or Saturday night, I said, you know, you're the one to beat. And I just really thought he had a chance. You know, guess what? I mean, it's luck, right? I mean, you got to have a lot of luck to get there, but you also have to be very good. And I think with I seen how many wins that he had, and I told him last week when he went down to Texas the week before and had a first place, I was like, man, I don't care where that guy cooks. He can freaking cook a steak and get first. He is doing something to that steak that stands out no matter where he goes. And I just said, I just think he has got as good a chance of any to win that thing. And I tell you what, it was if anybody was deserving of it, it was Scott Nardi. I mean, to do what he did, a perfect score, 10 wins in a season. You know, man, just congratulations, Scott. Then once again, I told you last week that was just more deserving. I mean, anyway,
Scott was what, 3rd or 4th last year, right?
Yeah.
In the top 15. So and he was the only one I think that repeated the top 15 from last year.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was deserving. I mean, it shows consistency. Even a year later, he's a monster.
Yeah. Rick, just to be stupid like me and make public bets with Susan like I did with Catherine. Women are fiery competitors, and let you forget it. I love it. Yeah, they got a memory, don't they? So they will not forget anything.
I want to say, dude, Catherine Noble has got the trophy I've wanted all year long. I'm so envious. I don't know if you guys saw her hot dog trophy.
Yeah.
That she got from barbecue. It was like this big.
Huge. Yeah.
So I'm going to try to rent it for maybe like a month or so.
There you go. It was the most pressure I've been cooking hot dogs. Let's see. The mustard from Kelly's Mustard is pretty dang good. Shauna Rapolo, such a fun time. We're excited to be part of the adventure with Raz Dogs and Pickle Pico. 2022 is going to be an awesome year. Yep, absolutely.
That's my sister right there.
That's it. Raz converted a hot dog hater to a hot dog lover. Yeah, I'm telling you.
And then you get a first place. Way to go, sister.
That's it. And when is Scott's barbecue champ class coming out? Yeah, we know. I need to get you in a Raz dog, man. You ain't kidding. Oh, let's see here. Congratulations, Scott. I've been seeing one of cooking hot dogs. I stopped in between you and man the cartel. Dang. Man,
so is this a steak show or what?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It looks like we got hot dogs. Hot dogs, hot dogs, hot dogs. Everybody, I mean, heck, I'm going to need to get you back just to do a hot dog segment. Well, look, we're about to run out of time. Look, one of the things I want to do, and I hope just don't run off, guys. I mean, I want you. We'll start with Mark first. Raz, talk a little bit about your sponsors because. You know,
I want to give him some airplay because Terry's watching. So if I mess up, and look, I got my Scott McDonald list.
There you go. Hey, that's all right.
I'm not going to mess up.
Okay.
But you know, so Big Stream, actually, I mean, you've got it in your back. I mean, it's just a solid rub, and you know, it's if you guys saw my layering seasoning, it's not that hard. It's just that good that it kind of just wins. So Big Stream, definitely love it. Matt Overson. Kudos to you on Wicked Pig. It's the world's using it, so love that. We got Gunther William knives. We got Magnet Chef gloves, with little magnets in there, which are awesome. Kingsford charcoal, love it. Give you the heat. Did I get them all? Hold on. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, grill grates. There we go. Grill grates.
Gotta have it.
But trust in the dust, baby. So there we go.
There you go.
Got the list. Good. Love you guys.
There you go, buddy. What about you? What about Rick?
I have to say thank you to the Cheese Curd Cartel.
I love it.
It's my good luck charm for 2022. So thank you, Sue Purpitz and Paul and Scott and Jessica and the whole group. But no, certainly Team Akasipi, John Lindsay, Ronald Burns, Hottie Toddy Seasonings, all queued up seasonings. Great products. I've had, decent amount of success with. Certainly Team M Grills, Travis McGee, M16, ever since I
Oh
went
yeah.
to 16, that's honestly when I started really ripping and roaring last summer anyway. So thank you for that. Shout out there. Moo Magic, Fear the Moo Baby, Travis Patterson, Carrie Ann Shop, Flaps 20, excellent product, no doubt. So, and Blue Hogs Charcoal.
Blues Hawk. Okay, you Blues Hawk. Okay. There you go. Well, guys, I tell you what, it's been an absolute great show. We got big things hopeful on the horizon. Obviously, I'm going to have to figure out how to do something with you two, because you two together is just unbelievable. There is something that was brewing. We're not going to say it just yet, but I did have something.
Could have, and darn it, didn't happen.
Dang, it didn't happen. I do have something in the works for these two, and Lord willing, hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun next year. So, love the fun meter, and we have the East Coast Steak Mobby. There we go. So,
there we go.
I tell you what, guys, I have thoroughly enjoyed y'all's presence on our show. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely appreciate so much for what you've done for Barbecue Champs, being spokesman for Barbecue Champs Academy and pushing us and giving us shout outs. It's truly, truly appreciated on my part. We're trying everything we can to keep it going. Last year it was a common household name. Every time it was competition, that's all I heard. It was really great. It's definitely slowed down, but I appreciate you guys sparking it back up and getting it going. If any of you other out there are taking our classes and you don't mind giving us a shout out, we would really appreciate it. The advertising used to work really, really well for us on Facebook. It does not work like it did with this new ISO update that they did last year. It cut our sales probably by 40%, and it's not come back. We have done a whole bunch of different things to try to get it back. It's just not working as well as it did. And so it's back to word of mouth. And I do have some things that I'm trying to put together that may help entice people to give us more shout outs. Maybe with putting some kind of chase together, points chase and some prize money. So I may have to incorporate these two men's brilliant minds and see if we perhaps can put something together. So if we do, you'll be the first to know, and it'll be in all the message boards as well. Mark, got any last words?
Let's have a great time. Rick, look forward to seeing you, buddy. Love you.
Love you too, brother.
Let's get back on the circuit and let's kick each other's butts and have a good time doing it.
That's it. Rick, thank you, man. What do you guys say?
No. Just, hey, this is what the SCA family is all about. It doesn't make a difference what team you're on, what rubs you use. That's all irrelevant stuff. At the end of the day, it's about relationships and the relationships that we all make.
Absolutely.
It's just like I said, we work every day. We take ourselves out of the element on the weekend to enjoy and meet such great people, and that's really what the SCA family is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. 100%.
Love the family.
Got a great family, and it's just a lot of fun. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have enjoyed our show tonight. I know I've certainly have. We could not have had two finer guests on for our show tonight. Next week, we're going to have Mr. Wild Bill, Lord willing, Texas Select Seasoning. You might want to check that out. This guy's been making rubs for over, since 1982, a long time. And he co-packs everything himself. He grinds up all his stuff. And I tell you what, I've got several of them, and I've tried them. And sometimes it may just be that one little thing that stands out a little bit. So he's going to give some pretty in-depth stuff next week that he wants to kind of go over. Might behoove yourself to join us next Tuesday night, Lord willing, at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. I've had a great time tonight with two amazing cooks, two great friends. I want everybody to go out, have a blessed week, have a lot of fun, and smoke on.